I'm going to cover. My purpose is not to change your religion. My purpose is not to make you believe everything that I say. On the contrary, I'm the only one in the world that will tell you, listen to everyone, read everything, believe absolutely nobody, including me.
Speaking of media systems, you look at something like Prometheus throwing all this darkness in your face as if these ugly creatures were where we came from. Give me a break. Look at this. We got sent this by a listener, and it wasn't Mike Judge, who is a listener, who did this. It was one of his crew, though. And this came out. What year did this come out? 1994, after the first World Trade Center bombing, where the feds admit they cooked the bomb, trained the driver. New York Times, CBS News. Just check it out for yourself. And in the report, we're talking about, you know, what if Muslim extremists blew it up. So they have Beavis and Butthead as the Muslim extremist. So I thought I would look at this a little more because it reminded me of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other examples that are out there where before 9/11, we saw images of the World Trade Centers being blown up, including by jets being flown into it. But we also had the lone gunman on Fox News, not Fox News, Fox TV, promoting the exact scenario of what happened on 9/11 6 months before. We're going to play clips of that. But first, I want to play Bush, Condi Rice, and Porter Goss. Bush said they've never heard of a plan to fly planes into buildings. Of course, Condi says they knew about the memo determined to attack. Well, of course they did. They were trained at U.S. military bases. They were just taking part in drills and got set up on board the aircraft, just like 7-7, where the known MI6 agent, a SWAT, was commanding them with what they thought was fake bombs in a drill. They blew them up. Answer is, don't ever go be part of a drill where you think you're taking part in blowing something up, because they will set you up in one of these drills. So continuing here, let's go ahead and go to some of these archived clips before we show you the examples of predictive programming, subliminal conditioning, building up to 9/11. And I'm not saying that's what happened with the Beavis and Butthead folks. A lot of this is just their iconic images. But the Fox News is definitely programming, and I happen to know why Fox News and Fox TV with the lone gunman is, because I ended up talking to Dean Haglund, who worked on it, and he said the CIA approached them and had planted those messages in the show. Let's go to that Bush clip.
Clearly, President Bush, his spokesperson, Ari Fleischer, and his national security advisor, Condi Rice, were more than aware of the threat of planes as weapons. But the news media appeared to miss the lead.
Nobody in our government, at least, and I don't think the prior government that could envision flying airplanes into buildings on such a massive scale.
I don't think anybody could have predicted that these people would take an airplane and slam it into the World Trade Center, take another one and slam it into the Pentagon.
Have U.S. plans taken into account the use of a plane in a terrorist attack? And generally, what would the country do?
Well, I'm not going to tell you the specifics of that. The answer to your question is yes. We have considered that. This is not a new idea. And we have created some defenses against that. As you can tell, as we speak, there's still things going on. And I would definitely suggest that we be very alert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
I think it might be a good idea if we got out of this crowd.
Hey, John, Boyd, did you hear that?
And of course, you've got them taking the power to shoot down the aircraft 6 months before, 4 months before. You've got just all of it. I mean, they totally did it, ladies and gentlemen, just like the USS Liberty, just like Operation Ajax, just like Tonkin, just like they're using Al-Qaeda to attack Syria and Libya right now. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And, of course, it did come out that, of course, they knew of such plans. The FBI said, these people don't want to know how to land or take off, just fly a plane. We think they want to fly them into the World Trade Center, and we're told to stand down. Those were just people taking part in drills to test security, and the security did respond. Okay, this is a study from 1999 put out by FEMA to show that, oh, they'd never heard of such a plan. No one had ever thought of something. Well, there's Porter Goss on 9/11 by the Pentagon admitting they had plans to deal with it. Turned out that day they were running drills of hijacked jets flying into the Pentagon North and South Towers. Drills. And they had moved the emergency center out of Building 7 that night before, FEMA admitted, for a Tripod 2 drill of terror attacks on it. Boy, that's convenient, isn't it? Isn't that just convenient that that happened right there? But before I get to the lone gunman clip, let's go ahead and just go through some of this in popular culture. You've seen the Beavis and Butthead from 1994. But Darren McBreen has put together a bunch of these. There is Homer Simpson in 97 with the 9 next to the 2 towers. There's Sesame Street with Cookie Monster attacking both of them. That's in 76. There's planes flying through the buildings with Wonder Woman concerned. That came out 4 or 5 months before 9/11, that particular album cover by Coup. And we've got a bunch of other. Oh, this was produced by the Illuminati Company, the Illuminati card deck that's based in Austin, Texas. Mr. Jackson that heads it up has not returned hundreds of our phone calls. We're going to go over to his office soon, next few weeks. There you have the Pentagon and the World Trade Center hit on the same time. Very, very interesting to have fear and take over. Here you have the World Trade Center's hit in just countless areas of culture. But sure, they're iconic. Imagine them being destroyed. Or was a message implanted to prepare the subconscious mind? 2 years after 9/11, I got a call from a local radio producer who produced the 93.7 show here in town, LBJ Morning Show. She said, hey, I'm friends with Dean Haglund, you know, of X-Files, Lone Gunman, other TV shows. Dean would like to come to your home and interview you. And I said, okay, 'cause I knew she was for real. Sure enough, right on time, BMW pulls up. Guy comes to the door, knocks on it. It's Dean Haglund from the show. And he comes in. You're going to see him here in just a moment. And we'll play the clips live so I can you know, tell folks where Dean's at. And he says, listen, the CIA would come and plant things on us. And I talked to Chris Carter and others. I think they planted this one on us. You know, it all becomes a blur, but they come to us and say, this is a message we really want to see. So I believe all these hundreds of images about the World Trade Centers being blown up and federal training manuals, you know, showing planes flying and all the rest of this. This is predictive programming. I mean, they admit all these messages in sci-fi where there will be a one-child policy in the future, and you will be starving to death in the future, and there will be SWAT teams, and you will, you know, we know that's messages that government and others pay for to create this perception. All these stories of cannibals eating faces, now people are doing it all over the place. Police are being attacked as people get it in their head. Again, it just shows the power of media. So let's go to this first clip here from Lone Gunman. This aired 6 months before on Fox TV, and they promoted the episodes on Fox News as well. It's one of the #1 shows in the country at the time. This is Lone Gunman, spinoff of X-Files. And this is where the CIA has come to them and said, put this in your episode. And then it comes out 6 months before, and there's a government terror exercise that's meant to make NORAD stand down, and they're having drills of the World Trade Center attacked by remote control aircraft that'll be blamed on a third world tin-pot dictator, Afghanistan, just loving to take credit and get smart bombed. That's exactly what then happened, okay? This is not a mistake. I don't just know statistically this is impossible. I have it from one of the people that was on the show. By the way, they've been erasing that online, and I bought it when it came out years later. I bought the DVD set, never had time to watch it. That's somewhere around here, I think, or it's at my house. You know what? Buy it again. I tried to find it. Just get that Lone Gunman. They only did one season. Get it, because I want to have that in high def. Who knows? Might have cut it out, though. Who knows? We'll find out. I got to tear my house apart. I've moved since I can't find anything. Side issue. The point is, that's exactly what was actually done. And reading these Bilderberg documents we got, it's all about, we got to keep the Cold War going, even if it's not a real threat and we're funding the communists. We got to prop them up so we can take people's rights. Then it became Al-Qaeda. That's all this is, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's go to the next clip that actually has Dean Haglund as the head hacker trying to unlock the remote control of the airplane. And again, the real hijackers, as best we know, were taking part in drills. They've been seen weeks before doing drills, seeing if they can get on and off with box cutters and stuff for hijacking. They just nerve gas people. Stewardesses said, I can't breathe, there's gas. That's what was reported, not hijackers. You can look these tapes up. And then they put everybody on nerve gas, remote control into the towers. Well, needless to say, the imaginary people, the lone gunmen, weren't able to take control over the aircraft. And by the way, it turned out those very aircraft did have remote control in them. Bush, a few days after at a press conference, said, we can remote control. We'll stop it. And the guy behind him grabbed the president's arm. Somebody's got to dig that video up. I know I saw it live on television. Just off the charts, incredible. Amazing is not a strong enough word.
Und Sie wollen den Mondführer eliminieren.